Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to the Sri Madhurya Kadambini discussions, and let's begin again with the Mangalacharan. Ridva navabhaktishyasya vitate sanjeevani swagama rambe kamatapatarudahdamani vishwapagullasini धूरान्मे मरुशाकिनोऽपि सरसि भावाय भूयात् प्रभु श्रीचैतन्यकृपानिरङ्कुशमहा माधुर्यकादम्बिनी श्रीचैतन्यकृपानिरङ्कुशमहा माधुर्यकादम्बिनी श्रीचैतन्यकृपानिरङ्कुशमः माधुर्यकादम्बिनी भक्तिः पूर्वेश्रुता तां तु रसं पश्येद्यदत्तधी तं नौमि सततं रूप नाम priyam janam hare. So yesterday we completed the discussion on the second offense, Shiva Shashi Vishnur. The second offense and the first offense is what Vishwanath Chakra Thakur goes into a lot detail into the analysis. And we spent quite a good time on this first and second offense. Especially the first offense, he goes through a quite detail. And we saw in the second offense, the offense of thinking Shiva to be different from Vishnu. This is the offense. And he goes into the Chaitanya Tattva, or the Ishwar Tattva. Not touched by Maya is Narayan, touched with Maya is Shiva himself, who is actually Vishnu, who takes the role for creation or destruction, you can see, on his own will. Both are falling in the category of Ishvara Chaitanya. In the Jiva Chaitanya, the different classifications yesterday we saw. So the point is that one who doesn't take this non-difference, he commits an offense. He says Shiva is supreme. We don't see at Vishnu, or Vishnu is supreme. We don't look at Shiva. So both these attitudes constitute the second offense. Both these attitudes. And another finer consideration what he brought out is to equate the Supreme Lord Narayan with Brahma, Rudra, Adi. So there the Rudra refers to the Jiva category Rudra. So in that sense, only that verse is applicable. That verse is applicable. So, but in general, equating the demigods with the Supreme Lord, that also constitutes a offense. So that is what Vishwanath Chakra Thakur goes into detailed analysis. And he, although Brahma is a expansion guna avatar of Vishnu himself, but he is Ishwar Avesh and he is a Jiva Tattva. So, and among Brahma and Shiva, although Brahma is Rajaguna, which is superior to Tamaguna, and Satvaguna is superior to Raja, it is Shiva who is superior. So that through the Bhagavatam verse yesterday he proves that. So how Shiva's position is superior to Brahma. So all this we saw, and the categories of the jivas. So this categorization of the jivas is done, quite in detail, even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Kapil Shiksha. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur does this in the Vaishnav Ninda article. So all this categorization has been done so that we offer respects to those Vaishnavas based on their level of consciousness. So that's the point, based on their level of consciousness. So we have discussed, how sometimes Shiva can become a Jiva, and in that time, how to become free from this offense. So now we will go to Shruti Shastra Nindanam. This is the fourth of the offense. This is also very important, and it has to be understood very clearly. Let us begin, before we begin this, to ask, uh, do we think that we do Shastra Nindranam or blaspheme the scriptures? What do you feel about it? Do we do that or no? And how it can happen? Before we go into the discussion, I would like to know what are the devotees' thoughts on this. We are studying the Bhakti literatures and we know the glories of the scriptures. So there's no question we feel that, we will blaspheme the scriptures. But is there a possibility that we can do this offense, the fourth offense? Anyone would like to share their thoughts? Chakra Rama Prabhuji, yes.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna to everybody. We do it unknowingly actually. What
How?
happens when I'm reading Bhagavatam, I keep it on my seat only and then move out without keeping on a proper place.
Okay, that is regarding, not giving proper respect to the scripture, but Nindanam, blaspheme the scriptures. Shruti Shastra Nindanam it is. Yes, Sunita Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I'll just try, Prabhuji.
Mm,
Uh, what I have
mm,
understood about this is we consider what is favorable from the
mm.
Shastras and we don't consider what is not favorable sometimes, like Ardha Kukkut Nyay.
But do we criticize the scriptures or what? For that, we are not able to, we take only what is favorable for us. Okay, but that is okay. But do we actually do Shruti Shastra Nindanam? Blaspheme the revealed scriptures? How this can happen? Do we do that? Yes, Prasanna Lakshmi Mataji. Prasanna Lakshmi Mataji, yes.
Um, though we accept the Shastras, many times we are not able to follow. So that is actually a way of showing, disrespect and Nindanam.
No, see, the Shastra standard is here very high,
Okay.
and I'm trying my level best to follow, but I'm not at that level. So I have inability. So that's okay. But how do we criticize the, Nindanam? How do we do? When is the Nindanam happening? The Shastra. That's the point. Bir Krish Prabhuji, what are your thoughts on this?
Hare Krishna Pradhanutna.
Yes.
So, as we know that Shastra has, different divisions like Karma Kanda, Jnana, Yoga, Bhakti, all these things are there.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes, when we criticize karmis or
Uh,
jnanis, so
uh.
in that way, we tend to criticize this Shruti Nindanam because they also fall in the gambit of Shruti. They are following some instruction of Shruti only, whereas we
So,
criticize them.
how do we criticize them? What do we criticize them?
We criticize like, oh, they are karmi, they are karmakandi, and they are not in bhakti.
Yes,
That.
yes, yes, yes. So when we criticize those devotees who are following the karma path, arey, they don't know the glory of bhakti, they are entangled in these trivial fruits. So we are criticizing those who are following those shastras. That becomes Shruti Shastrandam. Keshavnath Prasad, you would like to share something? Yeah, I have unmuted you. Haribol? Okay, there's some problem, I guess. Okay, so we got the consensus of all the devotees about it, but let's try to understand. What Bir Krish Prabhu said is quite true. So let's try to understand this. एवं च नैता भगवत भक्तिम स्पर्शन्ति बहिर्मुख्यो विगता विगिता इति ज्ञान कर्म प्रतिपादका श्रुतिर येनेव मुख्येन nindams. One may think, evam cha, these Shrutis do not mention anything about bhakti. Naita bhagavad bhaktim sparshanti bahirmukha. And they are glorified only by worldly minded persons. Bahirmukh vigata iti jnana karma. They are thus mundane and condemned. Someone may thus offend the Shrutis related to jnana and karma. Or those who are following the path of jnana and karma. Teneva mukena tas tad अनुस्त्रांस च ज्ञानम मुहुर अभिनंदे नामबीर उच्चे संकीर्तने श्रुति शास्त्र निंदन रूपाच चतुर्था अपराधानाम निस्तारयो. If such an offender repeatedly glorifies these Shrutis and they are practitioners, now this is very important. Even the Shrutis and they are practitioners. Even the practitioners you should glorify with the same mouth that criticizes them and does Nam Sankirtan loudly. This is the remedy if we commit this offense. Then he can be rescued from the fourth Namaprad of blaspheming Shruti and other Shastra. Yatasta Shrutayo Bhakti Margeshu Anadhikari Swachanda Vartina Parama Raganda Api Vartma Matram Adyaho Adyaroho Itum Udeta Parama Karunika Eveti Tat Tatparya Vigya Jana Prabodhita Yadi Bhagya Vashat Bhaveyus Tad Iveti. By good fortune, Bhagya, if such an offender is enlightened by the sadhus expert in the knowledge of Shrutis, Yatata Shrutaya Bhakti Margeshu Anadhikari, he can become free from this offense. He comes to understand that the most merciful Shrutis are trying to inspire persons unrestrained. Ragandam, unrestrained, completely blinded by material enjoyments, and unqualified for practicing bhakti to follow the scriptural injunctions. So at least, they are blind by material enjoyment and they have taken up to the Vedas. So they're gradually getting purified because ultimately the Vedas, there is a gradual progression. They don't have bhakti adhikar, but at least they have karma adhikar, and they have not qualified for practicing bhakti. So when we understand that, by the words of the sadhus, the purpose of the Shrutis, then we become free from this offense. Evam evanyesham api sannam aparadhanam udbhava nivritti nidhanani avagantavyani. One should thus understand the cause and nullification of the other 6 namaprads. So Vishwanath Chakra Thakur doesn't go into the other 6 apradhas, but he has given these general principles and you apply these general principles for all the other offenses. That's what he says. Now, a little bit some points on this. It's basically how we commit this fourth offense, Shruti Shastra Nindanam, is the devotees who are practicing bhakti and they are reading the Bhakti Shastras, they have faith in the Bhakti Shastras, they will not criticize the Bhakti Shastra text, but nonetheless, they might criticize those who have faith in Karma or Jnana Shastras. That is the Karmis and the Jnanis. They might criticize directly those Shastras which propagate karma and jnana, or they might criticize the Gyanis, the Karmis. Hey, Gyanis, you are, looking for Brahmanand, that is Keval Narakaya, like that. So that attitude, when we do any of these two things, then that constitutes offense, the fourth offense. So the scriptures are like, the Vedas are like, the Lord, like the million mothers. And it tries to accommodate everyone so that ultimately they can come to the path of Vedas, and ultimately the goal of Vedas is Vedeshu Durlabha, Adurlabha, Atma Bhakto. It is Bhakti. So everyone is gradually evolving. If they are following the Vedas, the Karma Shastras, they are Karma Asakta. They desire sense enjoyment, heavenly pleasures, and that's why they do yagyas, So we have to understand that the karmis are not qualified for bhakti, and the Shrutis are engaging them who are blinded by such sense enjoyment through these pious acts, so that they are not averse to practicing dharma. At least they are practicing through dharma, na? And by practicing dharmically this sense enjoyment, they are favorable to the sadhus. And by chance they get association of a sadhu, they are favorable to hear from the sadhus, and they will hear the sadhus, the glories of bhakti, and by that sadhu association they can take to bhakti. So that is why this is the Lord's plan. So criticizing such karmis will cause the fourth offense. Similarly, the jnanis are, they are nirvinnanam. Nirvinna means they are detached from this material world, and they are practicing the Gyan Marg to attain liberation. Now, the scriptures which are related to the Gyanis for cultivation of this impersonal Brahman, they give this knowledge by which they can attain Brahmanand. But if these Gyanis associate with the devotees, then they will realize the bliss of bhakti is far, far superior to the bliss of Brahman. And in the Bhagavatam, there is a famous transformation of Sukdev Goswami, how he was Brahman realized and he was absorbed in the bliss of Brahman, but he got attracted to, hearing the pastimes of the Lord. Atma Ramasya Gunayo Nirgranta Appi Urikrame Kurvanti Ahetukim Bhaktim Ittam Gota Guno Hari. So this is, I think, in the first canto, 7th chapter, yes, 10th verse. Atmaramasya Munayo Nirgante Appe Urukrame Kurvanti Ahetukim Bhaktim Ittam Bhuta Guna Hari. So the Atmarams who are Nirgranta, Nirgranta means they are liberated. But Api, although they are liberated, Urukrame is Krishna who performs his wonderful feats. Kurvanti, they start performing Ahetukim Bhaktim. Such are the qualities of Krishna or Hari. Such are the qualities. So both the karmis and the jnanis ultimately, their goal is Krishna in the Vedas has a higher plan how they can come to bhakti, because bhakti is the highest path. So having understood this, one should be very careful not to commit this offense of Shruti Shastra Nindanam. Shruti Shastra Nindanam. So that is the fourth offense. Now, as I mentioned, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur doesn't deal with the remaining 6 aparadhs, but I'll just briefly discuss these 6 because we need to know them and how any of these we can commit these 6 offenses. So, but regarding Shruti Shastra Nindanam, if you have any questions, I can take it up. Shruti Shastra Nindanam, any questions up till now what we have discussed? Otherwise, I can go to the 5th one, that is yes, Vinita Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, some more light on this, because like with some examples, that possibility, like
Yes. So this was a practical experience we had. We had gone on a holy trip to South India, and we were in Sri Rangam temple waiting for darshan. And while we were waiting for the darshan, there were some others from another sect, the Ayyappan Swami, whatever, in Kerala it is very famous. So they were also waiting in the queue. And one of the, neophyte brahmacharis, generally the neophytes, commit offense, because not having that, uh, broad vision of the Shastras knowledge. So he is telling, oh, these people, just 4 months they do this tapasya and then they are into sense gratification. So immediately backside there was a very senior devotee, and immediately he corrected him. He said, at least for that 4 means they are following some regulation. Firstly. Secondly, now they have come because of, having a little religious bent of mind. They have come to take darshan of Ranganath. And that darshan is a limb of bhakti. So we should see in that perspective, and criticizing either the followers, those who are doing this kind of practices, any dharmic practices. In today's world, you will not find the traditional Vaishnavas or Brahmanas who are following Varnashram. And there are there in some bits and pieces here and there. We should genuinely appreciate them, genuinely appreciate them. So this is what,
one more question, Prabhuji, sub question to this. Now that by God's mercy we are studying Madhurya Kadambini with you, we like personally, we don't have much knowledge about all the scriptures. Like we've just entered into this process. So how should we take this? Like, because we are having all that mishra, everything is mixed. We keep doing all this, not knowing, unknowingly. Then how do we take this? Like
we
we
take
are,
it as it comes. As we are
our
growing,
behavior
as
should improve, our thoughts should improve, because we do go into that tangent key. Oh, we are doing this, and we try to correct, but we are not eligible to correct.
I'm not really clearly getting what you're trying to say.
Yeah, even with this, even I am not clear, Prabhuji. Like Shruti, like if we come, maybe it will get clear later with more explanation.
No, basically, trying to criticize those who are like following the Shrutis, that is the karma and the Gyan marg.
Okay.
They are followers or the scriptures. Oh, these scriptures, there is no mention of bhakti at all. Bhakti is superior. So the tendency is there to consider, ourselves superior and the other scriptures as inferior. So the tendency is there. So we have to be, careful about it. And we learn as we study and as we hear and as we see from the practical examples from the senior devotees. And in fact, when we do that offense also, we come to know, "Arey, there is something wrong I have done." We feel that, and then that's why we have to inquire then, is it right,
Okay.
what we are doing. So like that, we need to learn.
Okay.
So the
Thank you,
fifth
Prabhuji.
one, yeah, okay, there is another question. Yes, Bir Krishnaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Mataji, you want to say something more?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You
No,
want to say something more?
no, Prabhuji.
Okay,
No.
okay, fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, sometimes in Bhagavatam or other scriptures, uh, uh, verses come like it appears that it is, it is some sort of, like Sramayo hi kevalam or Krishna Bhakt Niskamate Sant and Baki. It's some sort of
Verses.
yes, Prabhu. How do
Yeah,
you see
that in the
these
Bhakti
verses?
literatures which is being described, in the Bhakti literatures, what is being described, there is a comparison done. And that kind of criticism is not actually a criticism, it is a it's a constructive criticism. which Narad Muni is doing to Vyas in the in the in the first canto, fifth and sixth chapters, you know. So that, for one who has come to bhakti, he should not be inclined to the karma marg, you know. So that is like a protection, Like Prabhupada, in his morning walks, especially with T.D. Singh, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, he was very heavy with the scientist, you know, and he was, bringing out all the flaws in science, how science is imperfect. Now, from a scientific perspective, somebody who has faith in science, he will feel offended actually. But what Prabhupada was trying to do is that he knew that his disciples had faith in material science, So he wanted to break that faith and establish their faith in bhakti or in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So that is the job of the acharyas, That is first thing we have to understand. Secondly, when we have come to the path of bhakti, then we need to know how these other paths, are inferior and how bhakti is superior. And in that sense, that knowledge is very important also for us. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, bro. So for preaching purpose, we can, we can say like this.
But it should be done also in a right mood and attitude,
Right.
not in a critical way,
Yeah, right, right.
without
Got the point.
holding any kind of emotions in the heart, like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank
Okay. Okay. Now I just want to briefly discuss the other offenses which Vishwanath Chakra Thakur has not dealt. The first is actually, fifth one is the Arthavad. Now, this Arthavad is very, very important actually. To think that the glories of the holy name is exaggeration. Now, this is in relation to bhakti scriptures. Now, whatever, Eka Krishna Nam Sarva Papa Shaya. One holy name can destroy all sins. When we hear this, we might feel that this is all, exaggeration. We might say this is exaggeration. So one who thinks like this, he commits this offense. Because it might not fit in his head. I have been chanting last 20 years and still, I'm not able to become free from the sinful tendencies. Although I'm not committing sinful activities, but the vasanas in a subtle form trouble me. How I'm free? But Eka Krishna Nama Sarva Papashaya, that Nam refers to actually Namabhas, or actually the almost the faint Shuddhanam. It is not referring to Namaprad. So, like that, we don't know the Tattva. So, whatever is mentioned in the Bhakti scriptures is not Arthavad. We have to understand this very clearly. But there is in the karma and the karma, especially the karma scriptures, there is exaggeration, of fruits. It is actually an exaggeration given. But that is given so that these who are attached to sense enjoyment, they need to be impelled actually to take up, because of these fruits, because they're kami, right? So these are exaggerations. Actually, that much fruit, it will not bear, it will not give, But the bhakti scriptures, whatever is given, that is not an exaggeration. And if somebody considers like that, then, he commits an offense. Now, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is a verse which mentions that if somebody compares ton crore, ashva, meda, yagyas, equal to the holy name, he is an Pashandi or atheist, if he's trying to compare this. What you might say, 10 crore Ashwamedha Yagyas. One Ashwamedha Yagya to perform, is only a Chakravarti Samrat can perform, who is conqueror of the whole world. And so much expenses is there, And that, if you're equating to the holy name, you don't know the glories of the holy name. So this is what the Shastra is speaking. And actually the glories of the holy name cannot be enumerated, Jainamadeha muni vrindageha janaranjanaya paramakshaраkrite. No, not that verse. The first verse of Namashtaka. Nikila Shruti Mauli Ratnamala Dviti Nirajita Pada Pankajantam Ai Mukta Kula Kulairupasya Manam Paritastvam Harinam Samshayami. I Mukta Kulairapya Upasyamanam. Great sages like Narad and Sukdev are glorifying. And the personified Shrutis, Nikila Shruti Mauli Ratnamala, Dviti Nirajita Pada Pankajantam. They are glorifying Nam Prabhu, lotus feet, which has, on the toes, there is the nail, and they are not able to glorify the lotus feet, nor the toe, nor the tip, nor the nail, but the tip of the nail. They are not only able to go up till the, and it is effulgent, shining. So this is the glory of the holy name. So, we should never consider that there is Arthavad in the Bhakti scriptures. There's no exaggeration. So this is very important for us to understand. Now, I'm going to just give an example to understand this 10 crore Ashwamedha with one holy name. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Suppose, I invite any of you to our ashram or temple and for prasad, and I, in prasad, offer you 10 trucks of popcorn. And then I offer also a thali where there is rice, sabzi, halwa, kheer, pakodas, paneer. Paneer is very famous, in ISKCON. So which one will you accept? Keshavnath Prasad Prabhuji, yes, we would like to hear from you. Keshavnath Prasad Prabhuji, why your audio is not working or what at your end? I would like to hear the devotees speak. They are typing. Who would like to answer? Raise your hands. Tirthat Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Can you hear
which
me?
one you will accept among the two offerings?
Second one, Prabhuji, obviously. Thali, wholesome, everything is there.
Prabhu, 10 trucks of popcorn. Such a huge quantity of popcorn. You don't want to accept?
Only with popcorn, Prabhuji.
Huh?
When variety is there, everything is there, then we satisfy.
What is pleasing to you, the thali or the popcorn?
Thali.
Similarly, this 10 crore yagyas you do, it is like offering 10 trucks of popcorn to Krishna. Krishna is not at all pleased. But patram pushpam phalam toyam. Just a minute, there is some disturbance. We'll continue. So, Krishna, what will you be pleased? Just patram pushpam phalam toyam. It's very pleasing. Or that thali. Duryodhan ka bhog na khayo, ruka shuka, vidur ghar khayo. So this is bhakti. This is bhakti. That is the glory of bhakti. So this is the fifth offense. So I'm not again going into detail. And then now the sixth offense. The sixth offense is actually, to interpret the holy name. interpret the holy name in your own way. You know? So this is also, we cannot understand the potency of the holy name. How potent is the holy name? When we hear Ajamil's incident, that Ajamil, when he, named his son Narayan, that is at the age of 80, he once affectionately named him and called him as Narayan, with affection. Actually, all his sins were destroyed. It is not that Ajamil, when he was 88 on the deathbed, out of fear seeing the Yamdutas, called out Narayan, that he was free from all sin. But when he had named his son itself, that time he was free from all sin. And then Ajamil, actually, from 80 to 88, he was still continuing to commit sins. But yet, there were no sinful reactions. Now, how this is, this is inconceivable. There is a Shastric understanding. Vishwanath Chakravarti goes into it. So we have to understand that, trying to interpret in our own ways the potency of the holy name, the Shastras are glorifying. I'll give you another example of this, this Bhruguvarya, Tarateyatam, I think, where is it quoted? Mangalam, Mangalam, He Bhruguvarya, Shraddha Helanava. I don't recollect the entire verse. Bhrugu Muni, Bhrugu Muni is saying that if the holy name is taken with Shraddha or Helana, it can liberate. Now, this person who derisively, jokingly, hey, these Hare Krishna people, he says, he can get liberated from all sins. All sins, sorry here. But if he's having aparadh trace from his previous history, then it will not happen. And those who are devotees, who have faith, they are taking the holy name, it also can liberate them. But again, if they have offenses, aparadh, then it will take time. It will take time. It will take time. It will take time. So this is, how potent is the holy name? How powerful is the holy name? So not understanding, this glory of the holy name, one might come up with his own interpretations. So, the acharyas give the example, just like in this world, there are precious stones or there are herbs or medicines which have very wonderful and powerful powers, and they cannot be understood also, how potent, how they are working also, and if such material objects have such incomprehensible power, what power the spiritual holy name can have. So that is how we should make sure that we should not interpret the glories of the holy name. And when in that assembly, Haridas Thakur in the Govardhan Majumdar and the Hiranya Majumdar was having this conversation. Oh, Haridas Thakur chants 3 lakh names, the holy name can give liberation. They were glorifying these Brahmanas. Haridas Thakur was disappointed hearing. Actually, this is not the fall of the holy name. This is not the glory of the holy name, that the holy name will give liberation. Actually, that is a byproduct. Actually, it is a byproduct. The real glory of the holy name is it bestows Krishna Prema. So he made it clear. So they were, interpreting that the holy name, potency is that it can give liberation. So all these kind of understanding, misunderstanding, you can say, constitutes the 6th offense. Now coming to the seventh offense. The seventh offense is, this is very grievous. Namno baladi yasya papuddhi. To commit sin on the strength of the holy name. On the strength of the holy name. To commit sin on the strength of the holy name. So, having understood, we are faithfully chanting the holy name, and by which the sins are getting eradicated. But sometimes, because of the weakness of the heart, we might commit a sinful activity. And the remedy is that one should repentantly chant the holy name. And Krishna in the heart understands the sincerity of the devotee, and he will, free you from that sinful activity, and he'll purify your heart also. But it should be done with sincerity. But if we think that, let me commit sin, and this is the glory of the holy name, that it can free you from all sin, and then let me chant the holy name in order to become free from that sin. If one with this attitude, commits sin on the strength of the holy name, then it will become the seventh offense. And what to speak of eradication of the sin, the reaction will multiply, and you'll get a severe reaction for that. So this seventh offense, devotee should be clear. And another point, devotee should be clear that, in the karma marga, there is atonement. In the bhakti marga, the atonement is, with a repentant heart, chanting the holy name. This is the atonement process. There is no other atonement process. And if one is trying to take up the atonement process, then he has not understood the glory of bhakti. So that also is very important. We need to understand. So this is the seventh. And then the eighth is, to equate, the eighth is to equate the pious activities with the glory of the holy name. That we have already discussed, so I'll not take up that. The ninth is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Now, in general, if you do Nam Sankirtan, people are attracted. Some are faithless, some are not faithless. It doesn't matter. Then that offense is not committed. But somebody who is not having adhikar, and you start extolling the potency and the glories of the holy name, he still not developed that faith, then, the ninth offense is committed. And the 10th offense is, in spite of hearing the glories of the holy name repeatedly, having not developed affection for the holy name, and we are attached to sense enjoyment, attached to bodily concept of I and my, and we disrespect the holy name. So that's the 10th offense. So these are the 10 offenses, and one should study, I feel, the Sri Harinam Chintamani. For each of the offense, there is one chapter devoted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and one should study that carefully. So now we'll come to anarthas arising from bhakti, practice of bhakti. Bhakti ut anartha. Aparadutta anartha is discussed. Now anarthas arising from bhakti. I'll directly read. Ata bhakti uthas. Now anarthas arising of bhakti are described. Techa mula shakata upashaka iva bhakteva danadi labha puja pratishtad swavritti bhi sadhaka chittam apya uparajya swavridhya. They grow along with the main bhakti creeper as weeds. Techa mula shaka upashaka iva bhakti eva. They grow along with the bhakti creeper, very close to it. And what are they? These bhakti uttha anarthas, because the name itself is bhakti. Please remember, the name itself is bhakti uttha, anartha. It is growing with the bhakti lata, which is a pure lata, and along with the bhakti practice, there is a Bhakti Utta Anartha, which is very similar to Bhakti. It is growing side by side. And these weeds are what? Wealth, dhan, gain, labh, fame, puja, pratishta, respect, and others reserved from Bhakti, and they influence the heart of the devotee. And these all influence the heart of the devotee. Moola shaka iva bhaktim api kuntitum prabhavantiti. By their nature, these upashakas, they choke the development of the main bhakti creeper. Now, how do they choke? Because both are growing together. With the bhakti practice also, the bhakti lata creeper, the pure devotional service creeper, and with the practice of bhakti, this bhakti utta creeper is growing. And these are what? Wealth, name, fame, respect. Now, what happens is when we divert our attention to these things which are coming, we are actually nourishing the upashaka. And that's when the bhakti shaka gets choked up. So this is very carefully. That's why one should be very sincere and honest and reveal his heart to the deities, reveal his heart to his spiritual counselor, Shiksha Gurus, his spiritual master. Okay, let's see the Bhakti Utta Anartha. Bhakti Utta Anarthas arise from Bhakti or Bhajan. People are automatically attracted to devotees who do Hari Bhajan. While doing Bhajan, gain, respect, fame, and other comforts naturally follow devotees. These are heavy obstacles for progress in Bhakti and attainment of Prema. Devotees desiring to attain Prema should carefully protect themselves from these material desires and should advance on the path, Bhakti path, with humility and renunciation. So this is the attitude we should have. If somehow one's heart is influenced by these desires for profit, adoration, and distinction, then even by doing bhajan sadhana, he gets these anarthas only. While he's doing bhajan, he's thinking, okay, oh, yesterday I gave a class. While preparing for the class, I was relishing studying. While giving the class, because I was speaking Krishna Katha, I relished. But later on, many devotees came and glorified me. What a wonderful class you gave. So after 2 days, my class is there. I start doing my bhajan of preparing of the class. Oh, let me tell this point so that they will come and glorify. Let me tell that point so that they can come and glorify. So your bhajan sadhana itself becomes anartha. So one very friend devotee of mine, he was telling me that when he had given a class, the devotees glorified him. So the next time when he had his class, he was preparing so that the others can appreciate and come and glorify. And when he gave the class, nobody came and glorified him. And he was wondering why nobody came and glorified him. So then he understood, oh, this is anartha. So we should speak Krishna Katha for the deities' pleasures, not for the devotees' pleasures. When deities are pleased, devotees will be also pleased. These desires are thus compared to weeds surrounding the bhakti creeper. Weeds growing along with the main creeper nourish themselves from the juice of the creeper or the sprinkling of water and retard the growth of the main creeper, eventually making it dry. So the weeds which are growing along with the main creeper, they will get nourished. And then what will happen? They will retard the growth of the main creeper. Similarly, Bhakti Utanarthas like money and fame color the hearts of the sadhakas and chokes the roots of their creepers of devotion. Now Mahaprabhu tells Rupa Goswami, Kintu yadi latara sange ute upashaka bhukti mukti vancha joto asankhya tara leka निषिद्धाचार कुटिनाटी जीव हिंसन लाभा प्रतिष्ठादि योतो उपशाखागण शेक जल पाय उपशाखा बारी जाए स्तब्ध होया मूल शाखा बाहरिते न पाए प्रथमे ते उपशाखा कोरी बेछेदन तबे मूल शाखा भारी जाए वृंदावन. Sometimes unwanted weeds arise along with the bhakti creepers as innumerable desires for material enjoyment. Bhukti, the facilities what you get. You gave a class, you get a Rajbhog. And then Mukti, Vancha, performance of acts forbidden in Shastras, Nishidhyachar, deceit, to get fame, you give classes, that duplicity, fault finding, kutinati, jiva himsa, violence towards other living beings, material gain, respect, fame, and so on. When the weeds are sprinkled along with the creeper, they also grow with the creeper and will suffocate the roots of the creeper. Mukhya shaka. So first these weeds must be rooted out. Pratamete upashaka karibe chedan. Just like the Mali, the gardener, when he plants the rose plant and he starts watering, there are other weeds. They start growing, and they are taking the water. So that's why chedan, he comes and cuts them. Tabe Mula Shaka Bare Jai Vrindavan. Then the original stem can grow up to reach. Now, to distinguish between the original Bhakti Lata creeper of pure devotion and these Bhakti Utta anarthas, because they are Bhakti Utta, they look very similar, very difficult to identify. Then how do we identify them? How do we identify them? That's my question to you all. Because they look very similar. What are your thoughts, Bir Krish Prabhuji, about this? How do you identify? Because they look very similar. What do we do? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, we can identify by now when our attention is shifting towards this name Pratishtha. I mean,
Actually,
if
we
our
cannot
focus is
identify. We cannot identify. Only an expert spiritual master can identify. Only an expert spiritual master can identify. That's why we have to be under the guidance of an expert spiritual master. We have to come under somebody's introspection. That is the only way. Otherwise, we cannot identify. We cannot introspect within ourselves and see. We have limited comments. But if we are in somebody's lens, then they can see from that higher lens. So that is why that is the way. Only an expert spiritual master can identify. Sriman Mahaprabhu teaches here that desires other than for Krishna and his devotion, like enjoyment, liberation, forbidden acts, all this, on the part of the jiva who is an eternal servant of the Lord. If one material desire arises in the heart, it is followed by others contaminating the heart. Finally, desires for bhakti disappear from the heart. To fulfill his desires for enjoyment, profit, being worshipped, and distinction, a sadhaka does forbidden things like lying, using harsh words, committing violence and theft and so on, while continuing to wear neck beads and tilak and performs hearing and chanting and other devotional items like a machine. Very heavy statement this is. I'll take up the questions. He superficially shows humility and conceals his forbidden acts so that devotee may not condemn him. His heart finally becomes so influenced and deceitfulness that not even a trace of desire for bhakti remains there. Hence, Mahaprabhu gave instructions to cut down these weeds from the very beginning of their appearance. Though one may give up bhakti and mukti, the other weeds, the desire for fame, is very difficult to give. Pratishta asha. Sanatana Goswami writes in his appendix to Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sarva tyagapi aheyaha sarvanata bhuyaschate kurya pratishta vishtaya yatnam asparshena varam. Sarva tyagapi aheyaya. If you can give up all other anarthas, sarva anartha bhuyaschu, all the anarthas you can give up. Kurya pratishta vishtaya. But to give up pratishta is very difficult. And he compares pratishta to vishta, the stool of a hog. And that's why yatnam, you have to greatly endeavor that one should not touch this, stool like pratishta. That is what very heavy condemnation. If somebody is looking for fame, it means that he's wearing a helmet filled with stool on it, which we don't touch also, no? So fame is like that, but most difficult to give. This is the last of the anarthas, in fact, to give up. Though one may give up everything, desire for fame, the cause of all anarthas, sarva anartha bhuya, it is the cause of all, it's difficult to give up. A sadhaka devotee should thus be very careful not to touch the stool of fame. If the desire for fame exists in the heart, its beloved envy. So the beloved is envy also follows, since fame and envy are conjugally related. You know, when I start getting fame and I find out there is somebody else who's more famous than me, then I start envying him. So that's how, they're conjugally related. From the semen of envy, now envy gives birth, semen of envy, Chandala, in the womb of fame appears two twins, jealousy and malice. So we saw that. I told you, jealousy and malice. I become jealous and I want to put down others. I want to give a Bhagavatam class so that many will praise me like that. The frantic dance of these four destroys the heart's good nature. That is what? Pratishta, envy, jealousy, and malice. How can desire for bhakti remain in such a heart? A sadhaka should thus be humble, respect others, and try to give up the desire for fame. So that is regarding the bhakti utta anarthas. So any questions on this? Keshav Nath Prasad Prabhuji had a question. I'll take up that first. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Can you hear me, Prabhuji, now?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. Prabhuji, my question is, as you mentioned, that anartha we may not be able to see, and we need a constant guidance.
Yes.
In case we don't have, then I mean, we do meet the advanced devotees, but what any practical tips you would like to give, on a daily basis that we can, kind of measure ourselves on a certain criteria that can help us to
Yes, I understood your question. There are basically two things. One is actually, whatever thoughts come to the mind, we journal them, we write them. These are the kind of thoughts which are coming. And somebody appreciates us, genuinely appreciates from the heart, then, how do we feel? Oh, so nicely is glorifying me, and we like to hear that nectar, or we feel, we just are neutral to it, or we feel that genuine appreciation, which is like nectar in the poison we feel in our heart. How do we feel? Actually, an advanced devotee feels like poison. He doesn't take it, he gives it directly to the, you know, actually, I'm just an instrument. No, it is the deities, So, this kind of introspection, that's why introspection means to go deep, and that's little difficult to do that self-evaluation. But by journaling, you can do that. Write down what thoughts come and write it in a book, and then that will help you do. And you should have equal friends whom you can share your heart. And then you have spiritual mentors, the Shiksha Gurus, who are superior to you, who can guide you, who have gone through these stages and they have that experience. And then the spiritual masters. And we should have access at least to our peers. And then we should, if we can't meet our Shiksha Gurus, we might meet every 6 months once or year once, but we should at least have some kind of communication through them. And if one has to be very sincere and honest, and then the guidance will come. Is it clear?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji, very much. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Any other questions? Anyone else has? Two more are there. Yeah, okay. Two more we'll take. Vinita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, but in this world that we live, appreciation is a step to do that act more and more. Like if you are appreciated, you would want to do that more and more. Suppose now you're giving a good lecture and you're appreciated. You would really want to do more and more. Then how is it wrong?
Well, we should not get carried away by it. Genuine appreciation somebody does, he does it from the heart, but he is doing it. But for the person, to digest it is not easy. And impelled by it, you want to do it, but not you're doing that act for the pleasure of Krishna. Then there is a subtle difference. And what our observation is, I'll tell you, for many years, generally the devotees, who glorify also, you give a nice class. Sometimes they glorify because, they don't like you, in fact.
No, Prabhuji, it's not true. I don't
No,
think
no, no,
so.
no, no. I'm not saying like that. Try to understand what I'm trying to say. They cannot, give those kind of classes, and, they speak that. And when things go wrong, if they feel that the devotee's life things are going wrong, they criticize you also. Both happen. So these are both sides of the coin. If you glorify someone, you'll criticize also. And I've observed this. But genuine appreciation from the heart, when it comes, we can hear that voice. Actually, it is coming from the heart and it touches our heart. That is very inspiring also, in one sense. That is inspiring. But again, we should, just, offer it to the Guru Shish Parampara and the deities and not take it. Very difficult. Very
It's a
difficult.
tough practice.
Yes, yes. That's the point.
Thank you, Prabhuji. But
Yeah.
it's been very like I feel like every morning with you makes us grow better.
Correct.
And it's a true from my heart. Like it makes us grow better.
I'm also trying to grow. I'm
Yes,
struggling.
Prabhuji.
I'm a struggling sadhaka.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Sunita Mataji. There
Hare
was
Krishna.
hand raised, I guess.
I
Yeah.
had a question.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I had this question that how do we know that we are pleasing the Lord?
It automatically happens within our heart. सवे पुंसान परो धर्म यतो भक्ति रदोक्षजे अहेतु की अप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति. ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति. अहेतुकी, without any hetu, and we are doing it continuously, apratiyata, just for the pleasure. Anukulena Krishna Nushilam, when we do. Like the gopis dress very beautifully. They apply makeup and all, they dress nicely, not so that they can look beautiful, but for the pleasure of Krishna. And when Krishna sees and they see that Krishna is happy, naturally they feel happiness. So suprasiditi is a principle that, if you have done genuinely for the pleasure of the Lord, then there is reciprocation because we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are connected to Krishna and we can feel that naturally within. Pratyaksha avagamyam dharmam. So that is what we need to understand. Is it okay?
I needed some more explanation on this, Prabhuji.
I think this is sufficient for now. Yeah. We have done that already exercise, when we went into the Shuddha Bhakti definition, Preeti, the 3 symptoms of Preeti are there. We have done that. We had almost 1 class on that. So you can refer that also then. Yes, last one. It's late, 5-10 minutes, but we'll take Chakrama Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I agree with the 5 weeds which grow along with the bhakti. And I would like
5
to be
weeds, huh?
considered on
What is
the
it?
4-5 weeds are the weeds which grow along with the bhakti, like
No.
wealth, gain,
Hold on.
fame.
Not 5 weeds. Asankhya Tara Lekha. Asankhya means there is no count. There are so many such weeds.
Regarding wealth part, suppose not for my self enjoyment, but I really want to celebrate a festival. For that, we need money. Then this is a wealth only. So how can we say that no to that? You cannot say no to the wealth.
See the wealth which comes, when we use it for our Krishna service, then that is not that is favorable to bhakti. But when that wealth comes, we use it for our own enjoyment, then it will become a weed and it will stunt the bhakti lata creeper. Is it clear?
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah, it's like that. Okay, so we'll stop now. Shri Madhurya Kadambini ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.